Megan Carter had always thought of herself as a woman who preferred quiet routines. She lived in a modest house in a small Vermont town, where the rolling hills and thick woodlands gave her a kind of peace she had never managed to find in the busy city she once left behind. Her role as the town's school librarian fit her perfectly. Each morning, she strolled to the library with a thermos of tea, greeting teachers and students with her gentle smile. Books were her constant companions, her refuge, her comfort, and sometimes even her teachers. That summer, however, her calm rhythm was unexpectedly altered. Her stepson, Alex Thompson, would be staying for a few months after finishing his college semester. Alex, now 20, was thoughtful and intelligent, though he often concealed his emotions behind a composed, distant manner. Megan had met him years before, and while their relationship had always been polite and respectful, there was a layer of unspoken tension between them, an awkwardness that sometimes lingers in blended families. She never wished to intrude, knowing how fiercely independent Alex was. The first few days of his visit passed quietly. Megan often noticed him wandering the woods behind the house, earbuds in, absorbed in his music and his thoughts. She respected his solitude, though she couldn't shake the impression that something troubled him. He seemed unsettled, pausing mid-conversation, his gaze drifting elsewhere, as if his mind was carrying a weight. Megan reminded herself that college life could be demanding and that perhaps he only needed time to breathe. One warm evening, she was sitting on the porch as the last golden light filtered through the maples. Alex appeared at the steps, hesitating. His posture was tense, his hands clenched. Without a word, Megan motioned for him to sit beside her. After a moment's pause, he did. Together they watched the sun sink behind the hills, the cicadas humming softly in the background. At last, Alex turned to her, his voice steadier than usual. "I waited long enough," he said. Megan's heart gave a quick jolt. She didn't know what he meant, but something in his tone told her to stay quiet, to let him continue. He drew a deep breath, eyes lowered to his hands. "I've been feeling lost," he admitted. "I've been trying to carry everything by myself, but I can't anymore. School, friendships, family expectations, it's too much. I thought I could handle it, but I've just been bottling everything up. I need guidance. I need someone I can trust." A wave of compassion rose in Megan. She remembered moments in her own life when the path forward seemed too steep, when sharing her fears had been the only way to move forward. "Alex," she said softly, "I'm here. You don't have to carry it all on your own." Over the next few hours, Alex opened up completely. He spoke about the pressure of choosing the right career, the strain of complicated friendships, and the constant tug between his own desires and the expectations of others. Megan listened without interruption, offering only small gestures of reassurance, an understanding nod, a gentle smile, a hand resting on his shoulder. When the time felt right, she shared stories of her own missteps and doubts, how she had once struggled with uncertainty and how she eventually learned to trust her own instincts. As the night stretched on, Alex's tense shoulders began to ease. His nervous fidgeting faded, and his eyes steadied. Megan realized that this conversation marked a turning point, not just for him but for them both. They had moved past the polite surface of their relationship into something deeper, built on trust and understanding. In the following days, Alex seemed lighter. He began joining Megan on walks through the woods, asking about local history, wildlife, and even her favorite books. She showed him how to approach research without letting perfectionism weigh him down. Afternoons were spent cooking side by side, laughing over clumsy attempts at new recipes, and evenings often ended in board games, their easy camaraderie replacing the distance that had once lingered. One especially memorable afternoon, they visited the farm where Megan's parents still lived. Alex pitched in with chores, fed the chickens, and listened intently to Megan's father as he recounted stories of the land, of hardships and resilience. Alex seemed absorbed in it all, his usual reserve giving way to real curiosity and warmth. Megan watched him with quiet pride, grateful that his willingness to open up had unlocked a deeper bond. By midsummer, the change in him was undeniable. He carried himself with more confidence, spoke more openly, and showed a clearer sense of where he wanted to go in life. The heavy shadow that had followed him seemed to have lifted. One evening, as they sat again on the porch watching the sky deepen into twilight, Alex turned to her with a genuine smile. "Thank you," he said simply. "For listening, for understanding, for being patient with me." Megan's heart warmed. "You're welcome, Alex. And remember, don't always wait for the perfect moment to speak. Sometimes saying what's on your mind right when you feel it makes all the difference." The summer closed with a small, joyful picnic they organized together, inviting a few friends from town. They shared food, laughter, and reflections on the journey they had taken over the past months, from silence to openness, from distance to connection. When Alex returned to college, he left with renewed clarity, a sense of direction, and a stronger bond with Megan, one that would last far beyond the summer. Later, as Megan returned to her daily life at the library, she often thought back to that night when he said, "I waited long enough." She realized it had not been a phrase of frustration, but a sign of readiness. A readiness to trust, to share, to seek guidance. And she knew that what they had discovered together, the power of patience, empathy, and genuine listening, would echo through their lives long after. That summer became a memory neither of them would ever forget, a testament to the quiet strength of understanding and the profound connections that can grow when someone finally dares to speak.